now to see if it's working. Hello everyone, welcome to Uncommon Roots Homestead. This is Kevin. I'm going to be hanging out with you a little bit today, telling you a little bit about the new addition to our farm. So I just finished setting up the fence, setting up a small shelter, and preparing for the arrival of our pigs. So I will be going to pick them up later today, but I did want to show you the setup that we have, describe a few of the things that we've done, and then if you all want, feel free to comment and I can do a more in-depth video on some of the things that we've set up to help you with your farm. But today I'm just going to walk around, show you a little bit of that. So let's go. All right, so to give you an idea of where I am down just next to the cow pasture. So if I turn this way, there's our cow right there, and the pasture, there's Fury. So the pigs will be hanging out pretty close to there. So right here, I've set up some fencing. This is Premier 1 electric fencing. It's shorter, it's rated for hogs and shorter legged animals. Put chickens in here, I guess, too. But I've created kind of this small pasture area. The breed of pigs that we're getting are called Kunekunes. They're a breed from New Zealand, heritage breed, and they can do either pasture or wooded area. So I'm gonna put them in this small pasture, and then this pasture, see that it actually goes back into the woods. So our goal with getting these pigs, well, there's multiple reasons why we're getting them, but one of the goals that we have is that we would like to have them start clearing out some of the woods. So if I turn around, you can see there's woods for a pretty good distance. So we have about 8 acres of wooded land to go with the cleared land that we have. Now, we don't mind having woods. It's been great. I think pigs will do really well in most cases in the woods. But this breed that we're buying, they're not the most, I guess, the rooty. Is that a word? We'll use rooty. Pigs like to root and dig up, trees and shrubs and brush. So that's just in their nature, but ours aren't the most aggressive when it comes to rooting. So I've got the small pasture and then some wooded area for them to go into for shade, for, digging up, any food and brush that they want to dig up. And then that will help us to clear that area. So the thought is that over time, if they do a good enough job of clearing this, we'll potentially have extra pasture to use too. Some lightly treed pasture that we could run our cows in and rotate them down there. So that's the thought process. So I'll show you the pasture here. So I'm going to step in. I've got this small pasture. There's their water, their food. We've already got some scraps for them to eat. So it's not a huge area. You can kind of see it a little bit, but this area is fairly small. But then they have a lot more space in the woods. So I'll take you into the woods to show you kind of where this goes. So back here, it comes back and kind of goes to the back of toward the back of the property here. We've got quite a ways to go. So walk toward the back of the fence and then it connects up there to the kind of pasture area that goes around, and then we're in the woods now, but it runs along kind of that line there goes around the trees. I've created a path that comes back through this area here. So it's a pretty good size. Each of these Premier One fence, fencing units, I guess they come in 100 feet. So I've got 3 of them right now, 3 of these electric, wire fencing units, and they are each 100 feet. So I've got 300 feet for them blocked off. Well, not 300 feet. It's a lot more square footage than that, but each of those is 300 foot to give you an idea. That is hooked up to an electrical unit right there. It's solar powered. We do not have electricity run out here, and the house, as you can see, is just a basement right now. So we don't have electricity run from there. It would also take a pretty lengthy extension cord to get it down here. So I opted for solar. As you saw in my introduction, it does work. Gives you a little shock. It's not too aggressive. It's only about 0.18 joules, and it's supposed to run for 10 miles. So it's not like the strongest shock ever or anything like that, but hopefully it gives enough of a jolt for the pigs to understand what it is and that they need to stay within that barrier. Next, I wanted to show you this monstrosity. This is called a pigloo. I got this idea from a friend named John who did this for his pigs. It's about 8 feet long by 4 feet wide. And I'll take you in. And you can kind of see in there, I used cattle panel, 8-foot cattle panel, and bent those, built a frame first. These were actually planter, like for your landscaping, like planter borders, I guess. But it's just wood that they've milled down. The edges are rounded, so it helps it move a little easier. And then I just put a chain on it, so that way you can tote it around. I'll probably put one on the back too, because it's hard to move around the other direction. But if you guys want to know a more in-depth, or get a more in-depth tutorial on how to build that, I can certainly do that for you. Just leave some comments. Let us know that you'd like to see that. If that's not content you want to see, it's not usually the most popular for us. But if it is content you want to see, just let us know. Because these pigs will be going in and out of the woods, they don't necessarily need a shelter. But if they need to escape out of the rain, if it is somewhere where they'll feel safer, if it does offer them a little bit of protection, it's worth it for us to give them a little something. We will be getting 2 male pigs right now, or hogs. So we'll be getting them first, and one of them will be a breeder and the other will be a feeder, which we'll use to provide for our family. The breeder pig will be getting a wifey down the road, so he'll be joining the farm, and then we're waiting on a different breeder to provide us with a female, or a sow, once they have their next litter. So we will be breeding some of the pigs back there. I'll probably have to do a more permanent structure once we have the sow, because once she is pregnant and giving birth, I'm going to want to give her a really comfortable place. This thing will probably serve its purpose for the most part, but we want to make sure our animals are comfortable no matter what, in whatever they do. We want them to have the best lives possible, because we're stewarding them, and the purpose for that is we want to give them a good life before whatever their purpose is. So this thing will do for now, but we'll probably add a more permanent structure down the road once we start breeding. One thing I did want to mention to you is that one thing you'll probably have to do if you are using electric fence netting is you'll probably have to weed whack or burn the weeds down underneath the fence. If you can see, I've kind of weed whacked here. I might have to do even a better job and do a little bit more in the woods too, because when anything touches these wires, it distributes that shock. So if anything's touching it, it's gonna kill your battery pretty quick. And with us only having a solar battery, we might drain that thing pretty fast. There's a lot of sunlight out here. That thing's constantly taking in sun pretty much all day, as long as it's a sunny day. It's pointing south as they recommend. So, you know, sun rises east, sets in west, so that thing gets sun pretty much all day. But still, the battery can drain really quickly, especially with the amount of fence we have. I'm probably gonna have to be a little bit more effective in how I keep the weeds and grass and the various brush that's in the woods, how I keep that down underneath the fence line, because ultimately that battery is going to drain pretty quick. Okay, so it's just about time for me to head out and go get the pigs. I'll try and take a little bit of footage while I'm there, and then I'll certainly take some footage once I get them here into their pen. Hopefully that goes smoothly, we'll see. So Kunekunes, we've done a lot of research. Part of this was, you know, picking a breed that we wanted, but the other part of it was accessibility. So we knew someone who had kind of an accidental breed of pigs. I mean, she had a couple Kunekunes and they bred. She's not a breeder or anything like that, but you know, nature takes its course. So she was selling them, and they're probably a little bit older than I would like to have bought them, but you know, it's a breed that we did a lot of research on and found that would be pretty good for what we were looking for, as we try to kind of rotate them down into the woods and down that fence line. They're also, you know, a breed that's not super aggressive. They can get aggressive like any wild animal, certainly, you know, pigs have a tendency to get aggressive too and pick kind of a pack leader. So you have to watch out for that, especially with us buying 2 males to start. Thankfully, they've been raised together their whole lives, so hopefully they have that worked out. But they are a little bigger than I would like to transport. I don't have a proper trailer, so I'm going to put them in a dog kennel, cover it with a tarp, and put it on the back of my truck. So that's how I'm going to have to do it, but one of the pigs, the feeder, just got castrated, and when they castrated them, they weighed them, and that was 87 pounds, I believe she told us, before castration. Not that that would change that much after castration. I guess it could, I don't know. I don't know, that's a different topic, different day. But it weighed about 87 pounds, so that's a lot for me to handle, and there's 2 of them, and they're both going under dog kennel together. So I'm gonna do what I can. I probably will need some help while I'm there, getting them into the truck. And then once they're here, I will wait around a little bit to make sure they acclimate pretty well. Once again, we don't live here, so that makes everything just a little bit more difficult. Ashley and I both work, and my work is flexible, but you know, I only have so many hours in the day to be out here. So I'm gonna try and spend some time out here with them as they get acclimated. But hopefully they adjust quickly. Hopefully the fence works out well. With people who have raised pigs that we know of, they've actually only had to use the electric aspect of the fencing, you know, for a couple weeks. And then once the pigs get used to it, probably not even a couple weeks, you know, I think a week is what our friend said. Once they get used to it, they don't really bother it as much anymore. They're pretty smart animals. So they know their limits, they know their boundaries, and you know, they don't really test that too much once they get acclimated and comfortable. So we'll hope that's the case with these ones. Once again, Kunekunes aren't super aggressive or active. They technically, Kunekune means fat and round in Maori, I guess. So that describes them pretty accurately. They get, you know, real round, they get big, but they're not like the super muscly type breeds. They're pretty chunky. So they get fat and round, and also a little bit lazy. I've been reading that they take a while to build up their confidence, so they could breed technically at about, you know, 3 to 5 months. But some of them take about 6 months to work up the courage and confidence to go do so. So it's kind of funny, but at the same time, for us trying to do sustainability, we want to try and expedite that process as much as we can. And one of the ways you do that is by making them comfortable, you know, just making sure that they have all their needs met and that they have safety and food and water constantly and anything that they need to make their lives good. That will certainly, you know, boost that process and build that confidence for them to go do what nature intends them to do. So I'm gonna go get them. We'll load them up. We'll bring them back here. Up to the new home for our pigs. Come on out, buddy. Come on. Got some water going for you over here. Come on. It's okay. See if I can't get him out, but down a bit. Rinse you off, friend. There you go. Now, one thing you have to be aware of with pigs is that they don't sweat. So unlike us, where our bodies are cooled down by sweat, pigs do not have that luxury. Their bodies don't work like that. So they need to be hosed down, or they need a waddle, or somewhere cold and wet where they can cool down, decrease their body temperature. So that's what we got going on. He's got some of the plants that we gave him, some scraps. All right, and then second pig, fun fact about this one, it's actually a girl. Thought we were getting two males, but the folks we bought her from were mistaken, and this one's actually a female. That's okay. We'll just go ahead and the breeder that we buy from the other breeder, the pig that we buy from the other breeder, we'll just buy a boar instead of a sow. So we got a sow. We got our boar over there. He is neutered, so he will not be breeding. We will actually raise him up, and then over time we will eat him. But he is, and there she is. Definitely a female. She's going to the bathroom. Now hard to tell. Rinse her off a little too. Testing out the fence, which I have not turned on, which I probably should. Hey, no. Here they are, loving life. They're both grazing, exploring their surroundings a little bit. She is taking to the grass, and he has found the vegetable pile we left for them. They both seem really happy. So this one, the female, who we will call Delilah, she's explored the fence a little bit and did not like it, so that's a good sign. She got a little shock and gave a little squeal, which is good. And since then, she's kind of stayed away from it. She's inching closer to it, but they'll have to learn. They got to explore a little bit and understand their boundaries. He has not bothered with it at all. He's an eater, so that's pretty much all he's done, is just explored the food pile and ate some grass. So we'll see, but they seem to be loving life so far. So friends, I will be signing off now. We are all happy to be here. Pigs are loving life. Hopefully they'll explore the woods a little bit too, but that's okay. They're just learning. But thanks for joining us today on our adventure to get pigs. It certainly was full of mess and was not the perfect transition, but nothing rarely is on the farm. Well, thanks for joining me today. As Ashley would tell you, you always have a space on our farm. If you haven't subscribed already, please like and subscribe this video. Let us know what other kind of content you want to see. If you want to see more of the pigs, let us know. If you want to see more of the garden, let us know. If you want to see the cows and the livestock guardian dog, let us know that too, or the chickens. If you want some how-to videos on how I did the pig glue, feel free to let us know that as well. But make sure you like, subscribe, and then follow us on Instagram at Uncommon Roots Homestead as well. Once again, you always have a space on our farm. I'm Kevin, and it's been a great pleasure showing you our farm a little bit today and taking you on the adventure of getting pigs.